something wrong with the shape of my ears, and they just fall out of my ears like constantly.
Oh,
So I got these little things, these little kind of things that athletes use, marginally better. But it's still, I find them on the floor all the time.
I
Eventually,
got
they're going to
I
just
got
break.
these. These are Power Beats Pro or whatever. I spend all day on headphones as well, and these, as opposed to AirPods, they have a much better quality than the AirPod, and
Hmm.
they loop over your ears. So just something you might want to look into.
Jeff,
I
could
love these; they're great.
Huh,
Jeff, could you
great.
put the name of that in your
Yes, they're those Beats by Dre that. Yes, I got to figure out how to do that. Sure. Let's see. I will definitely get you those. The name of those.
Thank you.
Teresa. Let me see if there are other questions that anybody else has. Oh, another person asked about suggestions of, like we were talking about microphones, webcams, or other video plugins that you might, or everybody just uses their laptop cameras.
Yeah, at this point, I think that's right. But we have something in the studio, but I haven't been in my studio since March. So they have
Wow,
something there. I don't know what it is, though. It seems to be good. So
great.
I wish I could help, but I really don't know anything about those. I mean, I used to buy them, when I was using a desktop, but
Hmm. Fantastic.
I only have people on the computer, iPads,
Hmm.
cameras.
well, iPad is a particularly good camera.
It's
So
kind of fairly
yeah, it's actually better than the laptop. So
fair.
whenever I can, I wish there was a way to use the iPad with the Blue Yeti, but there isn't.
Mm,
I do have an external mic for the iPad, but it's not nearly this good.
Yeah.
wow,
The only
great.
thing that I've found, the only device I've found that I really haven't been able to work very well with is Chromebook.
Oh,
And
really?
Mm.
unfortunately, that's what a lot of students have.
Students have that, yeah.
Yeah, in school, in public schools. So that it doesn't play well with Zoom, but they're working on it too.
Hmm.
I'm just scrolling through some of the, don't want to take all evening. I'm sure that we could talk about this forever, but I just want to look at a couple of the questions that have come in. And so we talked about the best sound settings. Actually, um, I know there are. We did talk about those sound settings, the original sound versus turning it on and off. But Teresa, you were talking about sound checking all types of different uh, uh, players. So do you think it's really subjective, or like the settings
Yeah, I mean,
depend on you?
it depends a bit on the instrument. I mean, we have everything from traditional orchestral instruments to Russian and Chinese folk instruments, and so
Mm,
there's a lot of different things that we're working with. It changes a little bit, but the overall settings are pretty much the same. It's just that they change every time Zoom comes out with a new update. It changes, and you'd think when you turn it on each time it's going to be the same, but sometimes things change. You just have to basically check it each time, and anytime I'm going to go on to either teach or perform, I do a sound check of myself. I go on Zoom, I make sure all my settings are right, I record myself, and then go back and listen to it before I log on, because there are times when you think it's there and think something's changed.
wow.
What and so I assume that you have background noise suppression off, and you have echo cancellation off.
Yes.
What's the other one?
Sorry, on echo cancellation, we depend on the instrument, and that's one of them that um, most of the things you read say to turn it off, and I found that putting it, as I don't have mine on right now and the sirens go by,
Hmm.
I found that turning it on is better overall if you're just to give a blanket statement to people.
Hmm.
And then,
I'll try it.
earlier, I think the settings, getting the settings right is important, and the internet, the hardwiring of an Ethernet cable, has solved more problems, as well as turning off those other applications, than all
Mm,
of that. Sound issues seem to come from the Zoom settings to me, to my ear, and latency is often the internet, and that making sure that Zoom has as much bandwidth as
Hmm.
possible.
great, great. Thank you.
But no one's mentioned the best part about virtual lessons.
Which is,
Meet everybody's pets.
That's
Oh.
right. Yeah. Well, you didn't meet mine, although all three dogs have come to visit.
Wow.
No, that's true. It is. It is true. And I mean, every time I'll be like coaching a group or something like that, and they hear a dog bark, and it just seems to humanize the whole experience for them so much. Um,
Absolutely.
For
so,
sure.
so I'm encouraging my dogs to come around, but one of them's so big that he could just knock over the entire setup.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, I feel like the closeness, and it kind of Zoom puts all of us on an equal level, where it's no longer like, oh my goodness, here's this person and here's this person. It's just, here we all are. We're all in this. It's an old, and everyone's tired of hearing it, but we're all in this together. But we are. We're all here. We're each a square, and we're able to talk kind of almost easier than if you're on a stage and everyone's out in the audience asking questions. We're the panelists, and everyone listening is just an equal square here on Zoom, and we can talk very friendly, and I like that.
We should be able to set it up so that we can be the center square.
Suggest that to Zoom.
I will.
Yeah. There were a couple of other questions, and I had one other question actually, but one was asking if the free Zoom has the same sound setting as the paid Zoom, and I think that I actually don't know. It does. Okay.
Yes, it does.
Great. So that's a good thing to know. And my question was, Ransom, you mentioned a moment ago about, the skills that these students are learning. I certainly didn't learn any type of editing, sound mixing, anything. I mean, I guess I had the opportunity, but it wasn't thrust upon me when I was in school as it's being done right now to students. How, so the humanizing of all of this, the new skills that people are being kind of forced to learn, do you see that as affecting your teaching in the long run, as just skills that students need to be thinking about, how the world is changing, how this new normal is going to shape how we are as musicians? Has that?
Yeah, that's exactly. I think that I first of all, I don't think it's ever going to go back to completely how it was, because the doctors are saying this disease is going to be with us. It's going to come around every year, just like the flu does. So I think nothing is ever going to be like it was, and in order to have a career now, you have to have an online presence. I mean, even before COVID happened.
Sure.
So learning how to edit and how to use Ableton and all of those programs is essential. I mean, I've been saying for a while that musicians now, I mean, young musicians now, can no longer be as we were, where we could just study the flute and hope to get a job. It just doesn't work that way anymore. You have to know how to speak to the public. You have to know how to record yourself. You have to know video things. You have to know how to promote yourself. You have to know how to produce your concert, and all of those things are. I mean, the schools are slowly catching up to it, but this has forced a lot of that. You're right, and I think that's another good thing about it, is that we don't really have a choice, So I mean, these are young, talented, brilliant people, and they get it very quickly, certainly faster than I do.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I'm very inspired by the knowledge of my own students. And I'm also inspired by the opportunity that this platform gives us to really connect globally. I mean, I'm giving a class in Australia at the end of this month,
Brilliant.
and it's amazing what you can do. You can invite your friends to come and teach a studio class, and you don't have to worry about the airfare and taking them out to dinner, which is a pleasure. But I think there's going to be a lot more connection as a result of all of us having become more comfortable with this platform. I mean, Tereasa, you're the exception. You've done this so much and for so many years, and that's wonderful. But I'm really excited that now if a prospective student asks for a lesson, I won't say, oh, I'm sorry, I do those only in person, where I can sense your energy and really look at
Oh,
That's sad.
sweet.
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. And it's been so exciting for me to be able to have, a master class with somebody from Europe that ordinarily it would just be too expensive to bring them over, So yeah, it's opened up a whole new world of connections.
Definitely.
And of course, it would be nice to be able to have dinner with them in person, but this is pretty good. And the opportunities that it's giving to the students I've been trading classes with other teachers,
Exactly.
which, there's like no money needs to change hands. So Damari McGill and Dennis Boryakov and Jennifer Grimm we've traded classes back and forth, and it's nice because I know that I know that they're going to work with my students, and it's a nice kind of sharing feeling.
Very much.
Someone said to me during the first week during the first day, the day that Broadway shut down, and we were all kind of going into this panic, and they said something that meant the world to me then and still does, is that artists will survive this and artists will be okay because what we do is creative, and what we need to do right now is be creative. And that's what we've done. That's what we're doing by even just having this and helping share the information that we've come across. We're finding ways to make it work, and that's what we'll always do because we're the creative ones, and we're the ones who have this to share.
Lovely.
No, it's absolutely true.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate all of you sharing your time, your expertise, your experiences. It's Ransom, really great to see you again. It's been a while. So, sorry, and it's nice meeting you. Absolutely. I don't know if there's anything else that anybody wants to share before we run off, but Carol did say, don't run the microwave while on Zoom. I guess she had a bad experience with that.
Yeah. Hoping you didn't put your Blue Yeti inside the microwave.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much. I hope that everybody has a great evening. I really appreciate it. This has been great for the Flute Club and everyone that attended. And look forward to seeing everybody on some platform again. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Jeff. Great job as a moderator.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Talk to y'all later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.